Now, from CBS 4 News, this is Facing South Florida with Jim DeFede.
Good morning, I'm Jim DeFede, and welcome to Facing South Florida. The race for governor is in full swing. This morning, we turn our attention to the Democratic side. We have had 4 of the candidates on this show: Philip Levine, Gwen Graham, Chris King, and Andrew Gillum. But there is one more candidate running, Jeff Greene, and he joins us this morning. Jeff Greene is a real estate developer from Palm Beach, and he's worth between $3 and $4 billion. He has made his opposition to Donald Trump a centerpiece of his campaign. This, however, though, is not the first time he's run for office. In 1982, he ran for Congress as a Republican in California and lost. And then in 2010, he ran to become the Democratic nominee in the Florida Senate race and lost that one, too, to Kendrick Meek. Mr. Greene, thank you very much for coming in.
Hopefully three's a charm.
Third time's a charm. Is that what you're hoping for?
Hopefully.
What was the impetus? What was the moment that sparked your decision to jump into this race?
Well, I've been looking at it, Jim, for a long time. And I have to tell you, I don't know if you know much about me, but I grew up in Massachusetts, middle class. My family was very comfortable. We lived great. My dad lost his livelihood when the textile mills left New England. We moved to West Palm Beach, and we lost with nothing. And our life totally changed. My mom, who had been a stay-at-home mom, became a waitress at the Breakers Hotel. My dad got a vending route. And I remember sitting in our little 2-bedroom apartment thinking, how did this happen to our family? That we went from being so successful to struggling so much. And my dad died of a massive heart attack at the age of 51, not just from losing his livelihood, but from losing his sense of dignity and pride from in his life. And it's always put me in touch with how people struggle, because our family's fate changed so much. And so when I see Floridians struggling like they are today, I want to make a difference.
And why do you think the other candidates wouldn't be just as good to do that?
Well, look, I mean, we've been looking at this for a while. And as recently as a few weeks ago, I think 40% of Florida Democrats were undecided. None of those candidates were able to really inspire the electorate and get them excited. We need an excited electorate if we want to win in November.
Well, one way that you're trying to excite the electorate is clearly to show your opposition to Donald Trump. Your initial ads show you confronting Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago and speaking out against him. Critics have said that you've said different things about Donald Trump before. I want to play you a piece of sound that you were on CNBC. I'm sure you've seen this before. Let's play it again. This is the sound of you talking about Donald Trump shortly after the election.
I supported Hillary Clinton as a Democrat. I'm delighted Donald Trump is the alternative. He's a great guy. I know Donald Trump, and I only hope that the Democrats do the exact opposite of what the Republicans did when Mitch McConnell and John Boehner said we want Barack Obama to be a one-term president. Let's hope that Donald Trump succeeds for all of us.
Now, well, all right, but at the time that you said that, by then we had already known that Trump had bragged about assaulting women on the Access Hollywood tape. He mocked a disabled New York Times reporter. He made fun and ridiculed John McCain for being a POW and denigrated a Silver Star family. So what is it about Donald Trump that you think is a great guy?
Well, look, first of all, I don't think he's a great guy. But I can tell you.
You said he's a great guy.
The day before the election, I was on the same CNBC, and I got on there and I looked into the camera and I said, I know Donald Trump, and I could tell you I would be scared to death to have him as our president. As soon as that stuff came out in the summer about him grabbing women, I said to the Palm Beach Daily News and the Palm Beach Post, he's nothing but a sexual predator. But you know what? Just like President Obama and Hillary Clinton, when somebody wins, you have to get behind him and give him a chance regardless. The American people picked him, and I hope that when I become governor, Ron DeSantis or Adam Putnam will say the same thing. I hope they'll say, Jeff Greene's a great guy, let's stand behind him and make Florida great together.
But it's one thing to say you hope the president succeeds, and I think that's the way the country should be. It's different to validate him by saying he's a great guy.
Look, you know what? The message was meant to be, we have to stand behind our president, just like President Obama said the same thing. Maybe he didn't say great guy, he just said we have a new president, we need to wish him well, and I think so did Hillary Clinton. And this is what we have to do in America in general, and Democrats are good at that, and they're good at standing behind whoever the leader is and giving him a chance.
Right. The video that you show in your ad of you confronting Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't Mar-a-Lago. It was actually at his golf club in West Palm Beach.
I got lost where all the rich guys hang out. But so that video was shot by your wife, correct?
Yes.
Why not release the audio?
Well, there isn't any. I mean, there's no audio.
It's got to be audio. You can't shoot video without audio.
Well, let me explain exactly what happened. So I was at a birthday dinner, friend's birthday dinner. They happened to be at that golf club. He had just been elected. So I went over I was at our table, and we had to go to the buffet. So even though he was the president-elect, with all the Secret Service around, you walk right by his table. So I was no intention of talking to him. I'm walking by his table. He stood up, and he stood up and he pointed at me. He was sitting with his wife and Kellyanne Conway and Rand Paul, the whole team. And he goes, Jeff Greene, he spent millions on commercials against me right here in Florida. He did everything he could to make sure I didn't get elected. He's ranting and raving, and I responded. I said, Donald, he wasn't Mr. President. I said, Donald, you know that I'm a Democrat. Of course I supported Hillary Clinton. And he's ranting. So my wife was 3 tables away. She picked up her iPhone and got some video. The only audio that was just the hum of the room, but I'm sure that if it's around, we're not hiding it from anyone.
So you'd be willing to release it?
I think if my wife wants to, it's her phone, but I don't think there'd be any problem.
Okay. Now, I just want to fact check something you said there, that Donald Trump, as you say Donald Trump said. Donald Trump said you spent millions of dollars on ads.
Yes.
But you didn't actually spend millions of dollars on ads, right?
Typical Donald Trump.
I just want to be clear. Right.
Not even, the truth is I actually offered to the Clinton campaign. I was at a fundraiser for Hillary, and first I talked to Dennis Wong, her finance chairman, and then after the very event, at the end of the event, the last guy there was Bill Clinton. I was talking to President Clinton, and I'm not going to tell you what, but I had an idea for how to spend some money in Florida in a big way, and I suggested it to both of them. They never followed up with it.
I want to just, the issue of Mar-a-Lago, I know it came up during the editorial board meeting today. Let's be clear now, because maybe you had a chance to find out for sure. Are you currently a member of Mar-a-Lago?
Well, I haven't received a bill for dues. You get dues billed once a year. I'm not planning on paying them if I get a bill. The last time I paid dues was whatever, in the spring of 2000.
So you're no longer a member of Mar-a-Lago, or you'll quit if you are?
I will quit, and I don't think I'm going to be invited back.
One of the ads that you ran also, talking about Donald Trump coming to Palm Beach, you said in one of the ads that basically Florida has wasted millions of dollars on road closures and overtime, presumably for police, and that you will put an end to that on day one. But in an interview with the Palm Beach Post in August of 2017, you said that Donald Trump was great for Palm Beach. Greene's, it certainly gives Palm Beach huge international publicity in a very subliminal way. If somebody is thinking of moving their hedge fund to Florida, maybe they'll remember seeing Palm Beach on CNN every time he's here. So you thought it was a good thing in 2017. Well, now it's a bad thing.
For the town of Palm Beach, if you're marketing the name Palm Beach and you want people to come to Palm Beach, people around the country are thinking, gee, should I go to Fort Lauderdale, Miami? Palm Beach was always like the other town, some unheard of town. Well, now the whole world knows Palm Beach. So there's no question in my mind that having a president, whether it's Donald Trump or John F. Kennedy or anybody like that, brings a great deal of attention to Palm Beach. But that doesn't mean that we're supposed to take money from our kids' schools. The sheriff in Palm Beach County, I was with him a few weeks ago, and he told me point blank that they have not yet been reimbursed $4 or $5 million from last year for the sheriff's department, and then they may not have enough money to staff the schools.
You talk about schools. This is a good place to take a break. Let's take a break here, because I want to talk about schools in a substantial way, and I don't want to do that quickly. Right. So let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll talk about schools, the school you started, and what your plans are for education. We'll come back with more of Jeff Greene right after the break.